Archangel Michael speaks. I am instructing you to open this now. This is not something to delay, not something to push aside for later. God is calling you in this very moment. And if you ignore this call, there may come a time when everything becomes quiet again, and you will wonder why the answers stopped coming. My child, my beloved, do not wait even one more breath. Before you go any further, share this message with someone right now. When you share a prophetic word in obedience, it multiplies the favor over your life and reaches someone who may be waiting for this exact moment. What you are about to receive is not just a message, it is a doorway you have been hoping would finally appear in your life. A doorway that leads out of confusion, out of delay, and into clarity. Before we go deeper, take a small step of faith. Tap like on this video. This isn't just engagement, it's alignment. When you act in faith, even in small ways, you position yourself for what God is about to release. I was sent to speak to you directly because God has been reaching out to you again and again. This is not the first time. You have felt it. In quiet moments, in restless nights, in thoughts that would not leave you alone. And I must be honest with you, this could be the last time this message comes in this way. Your spirit has been restless lately, hasn't it? You have felt something shifting, even if you could not explain it. Small signs, strange timing, a feeling deep inside that something is about to change. That is not your imagination. That is because today is the day heaven chose to reach you. If you feel this moment is real, press like right now. Let it be your act of faith that says, God, I receive this timing. Do not miss this moment, my beloved, because if you turn away now, what God is trying to say may become quiet again. And you may find yourself asking later, why things started falling apart again just when you thought they might come together. So, I speak to you now with urgency, but also with love. Open your heart, not just your eyes. Pause for a moment before you go further. Breathe and listen. Heaven set the timing for this message. The exact moment you found it was not random. It was not luck. It was not coincidence. You were meant to see this now. Not later. Not tomorrow. Now. Because something is being released toward you. A shift. A breakthrough. A holy turning point that is already beginning to move in your life. There were plans formed to keep you small, to delay you, to confuse you, but those plans are being overturned. And this moment is part of that change. You were not meant to come across this message later, because later might have been too late. If you have been experiencing unusual things, emotions rising without reason, repeated numbers, vivid dreams, or a strong feeling that something is about to happen, it is because your name has just been spoken in heaven. If something inside you just felt that deeply, type Amen in the comments right now. Let that word be your agreement with heaven and your declaration that you are ready to receive what is being released. Yes, your name. Heaven is not guessing about you. Heaven is responding to you. My child, my beloved, heaven has seen every night you stayed quiet while carrying so much inside. The tears you didn't show. The questions you didn't ask out loud. The weight you carried alone. And now, God is speaking. Not through thunder, not through chaos, but through this moment. You are not being asked to blindly trust. You are being reminded of what your soul already knows. That feeling in your chest right now, that is not fear. That is recognition. The veil between the spiritual and the physical is thin in this moment. That is why everything feels intense. That is why your spirit feels stirred. Do not ignore that feeling, and do not keep this moment locked inside. If you've been carrying things silently and this message is speaking to your heart, type Amen in the comments. Let it be your way of saying, God, I'm still here. I'm listening. Because what you receive in obedience grows, and what you share in alignment multiplies. There is something important you must understand. Heaven does not fight this hard for everyone. This kind of urgency only comes when someone is standing at the edge of a divine turning point. And that someone is you. My child, my beloved. Take a breath with me before we go deeper. What you are feeling right now is not pressure. It is not confusion. And it is not fear. It is awareness waking up. There is a difference between panic and awakening. Panic feels heavy, rushed, and unclear. But awakening feels like something inside you is gently being stirred. Like your spirit is whispering, pay attention. This matters. And that is what is happening to you right now. So let me speak clearly. This message may sound strong, but it is not here to scare you. It is here to reach you. Because when something keeps calling you again and again, it is not because you are weak. It is because you have been busy, tired, or overwhelmed. And now, you are being invited to notice. You are not in danger because you feel this pull. You are being aligned. Stay with me. Do not rush this moment. Because heaven does not always speak loudly. Sometimes it speaks softly. And if you move too quickly, you miss it. And missing it does not mean punishment. It means delay. So listen again, my child, my beloved. You are not imagining the signs. The dreams that felt different. The numbers that keep appearing. The feeling that something is trying to get your attention. All of it is real. All of it is connected. And all of it is leading you here. There is a promise attached to your life. But heaven does not beg. Heaven speaks once, then again, and then it allows you to choose. This is the second call. And after this, there may be quiet. Not because you are forgotten, but because heaven honors your decision. My beloved child, if a thought is telling you to leave, to scroll away, to treat this like nothing, that is not your spirit. That is resistance. And resistance always shows up right before a breakthrough. Though do not agree with it, because deep inside, you already know. This is for you. You are here for a reason. And because you are here, God sees you. Heaven is calling you. Not loudly, not forcefully, but softly, like a whisper carried in the wind. And that whisper has the power to change everything. My child, my beloved, do not let this become a what-if moment. If you feel this moment is too important to miss, type Amen in the comments. Let that word be your decision to stay, to listen, and to not walk away from what God is doing right now. Because moments like this do not repeat easily. A whisper can pass. A door can quietly close. And later, you may feel the weight of wondering what could have been, but not today, not for you, because you are still here, still listening, still connected. And that matters more than you realize. There are more messages coming, more clarity, more direction, more confirmation. But those who stay connected are the ones who recognize them. Subscribe right now. Not out of habit, but out of obedience. Because staying connected is how you remain aligned with what God is revealing in this season. You are closer than you think. Closer to your answer. Closer to your breakthrough. Closer to your shift. If you feel led, subscribe now. This is your way of staying in alignment with the voice guiding you into what's next. And now, I must reveal something deeper. My child, my beloved, there has been a timeline moving behind your life, quietly, faithfully, precisely, while you were questioning, while you were waiting, while you were wondering if God had forgotten you. There was movement, there was positioning, there was preparation. Nothing was wasted. Not the delays, not the rejections, not even the silence, because what you thought was delay was alignment. What you thought was rejection was protection. What you thought was abandonment was actually positioning. You were being guided, step by step, into the right place at the right time. Even when it didn't make sense, even when it hurt, even when you doubted everything, God was still working. And now, the page is turning. But hear this clearly. God will not complete this next chapter without your agreement, because you were not created to be forced. You were created to choose. This moment right now is your opportunity to say yes, not with full understanding, not with perfect faith, but with willingness, because willingness is enough. My child, my beloved, this is not a random moment. This is a divine interruption, a tap on your shoulder from heaven. And I must be honest, destiny does not force itself. If ignored, it moves forward quietly. That is why this matters, because right now, you are standing at a crossroads. One path leads back to what you already know. The familiar, the safe, the repeated. The other path leads to something greater, something new, something prepared. And this message is the sign you asked for. You do not need another confirmation. You do not need another voice. You only need to respond. Because once you respond, things begin to move. Doors that felt locked will open. People who forgot about you will remember you. Opportunities that seemed lost will return. Not because of effort, but because of alignment. My child, do not hesitate here. You are standing at the edge of a breakthrough that looks like a choice. Make this your moment. Tap like as an act of faith. This is more than a click. It is your agreement with what is already forming in your life. Because if you delay, if you ignore, if you step away, the door will remain closed. Not locked, just unopened. And your spirit will feel it. That quiet knowing that something was missed. My beloved child, right now, heaven is watching, not to judge you, but to witness your response. You are one of the few who still has time to shift, to return, to recover what was delayed. But that time is not unlimited. So understand this clearly. If you ignore this moment, you are not ignoring a message. You are overlooking a miracle that is already in motion. I have seen it. I have seen your name connected to what is coming, and I knew there was a chance you might scroll past, but you didn't. You are still here, and that means there is still time, but not forever. My child, my beloved, you are not being punished. You are being awakened. That feeling in your chest, that mix of peace and intensity, that is not anxiety. That is alignment. That is your spirit remembering. This is it. This day is not ordinary. This moment was seen by your soul before you ever lived it. And now, you are here. So the question is not, is this real? The question is, what will you do next? My child, my beloved, there is something you have been carrying quietly for a long time. A thought that keeps returning when you are alone. A feeling that whispers, maybe I've failed too many times. Maybe I missed my moment. Maybe God is done with me. Be honest. You felt that, haven't you? You may not say it out loud, but it has been sitting in your heart. And today, I was sent to answer that. Listen carefully. You have not been disqualified, not by your past, not by your mistakes, not by how long it took you to get here. You are not too late. You are not too far. You are not forgotten. My child, my beloved, you were never removed from your calling. You only stepped away for a season. And even then, God never stepped away from you. Think about a parent waiting at the end of a long road, watching, not angry, not distant, just ready. That is how God has been with you. He did not turn away. You did. And even that did not cancel anything, because now you are being invited back, not to be judged, not to be punished, but to step into what was always yours. You are still chosen. You are still called. You are still trusted. Because heaven does not invest in what it does not believe in. And the truth is, your life has been difficult for a reason. Your battles felt heavier for a reason. Because you carry something valuable. Darkness does not fight empty things. It fights light. And you carry light. Your light never went out. It was covered, hidden, quieted, but never destroyed. And right now, that light is rising again. You can feel it, can't you? That small strength returning. That quiet confidence beginning to build again. That sense that something is shifting. That is not your imagination. That is your light being uncovered. If you are ready to step back into who you truly are, type Amen in the comments. Let this be your declaration that your light is rising again and you are no longer agreeing with doubt. And if you feel something rising inside you right now, press like. Let it be your act of faith that your breakthrough is no longer delayed. My beloved child, you must understand how rare this moment is. Not everyone stops long enough to receive something like this. Many scroll past, many ignore it, many dismiss it, and heaven allows them to, but not you. For you, something different was required. A moment strong enough to interrupt your pattern. A moment strong enough to reach your spirit. That is why I was sent, because your life is not ordinary. Your calling is not small. And this moment was designed for you. It carries your past, your pain, your waiting, your promise, all meeting here. Have you noticed something? Everything around you became quieter while you were reading this. That stillness is not random. That is what happens right before a breakthrough. A pause, a shift, a sacred silence, where everything begins to realign. And I see something else. There is someone watching from a distance, someone who doubted you, someone who thought your story had already ended, someone who believed you would not rise again. But they are about to witness something they cannot explain. Not because you are trying to prove anything, but because God is revealing something through you. This is not about proving people wrong. This is about showing what God can do, because God is not finished with you. Not even close. You are not behind. You are being prepared. Prepared for something greater than what you imagined. But listen carefully. The moment right before breakthrough is often when people give up. Right before something is born. There is pressure. There is discomfort. There is uncertainty. And many walk away at that exact point. Do not walk away now, because you are closer than you have ever been. My child, my beloved, there has been a quiet battle over your voice, over your confidence, over your identity. Have you noticed? Moments where you wanted to speak, but stayed silent. Moments where you were ready to move, but hesitated. Moments where you knew, but still doubted. That was not random. That was resistance. Because your voice carries something powerful. Your presence carries something real. Even your silence has weight. And the resistance you felt was not because you were weak. It was because you were important. Because if you fully step into who you are, things will change. Not just for you, but for others connected to you. My beloved child, there are people you have not even met yet, whose lives will be affected by your obedience, by your courage, by your decision to keep going. That is why it felt so hard. That is why the pressure was so real. Not because you are failing, but because you matter. You kept asking, why is this so difficult? Why does it feel like I'm always fighting? Now you know, because you carry light, and light always faces resistance. But hear this clearly: your light was never destroyed, only hidden. And now, it is being revealed again. You are not starting over. You are returning to who you really are, returning to your purpose, returning to your truth. My child, my beloved, there is something sacred happening right now. A shift, a realignment, a moment where heaven and earth are beginning to agree over your life. And when that happens, things begin to move. Doors begin to open. Paths begin to clear. Not because you forced them, but because it is time. Do you feel that? That mix of peace and pressure? That quiet knowing that something is happening? That is the shift. Heaven is not just calling you. Heaven is preparing to reward you. But God does not force entry. He waits for agreement, for your yes, because your choice carries power more than you realize. My child, life has felt heavy lately, but not because you were cursed, because you were called. The weight you felt was not meant to break you. It was meant to wake you. Every challenge, every moment of confusion, every feeling of pressure was a sign that you were getting closer. Closer to this moment, closer to this shift, closer to your breakthrough. Darkness does not waste time on those without purpose. It focuses on those who carry something. And you were marked, chosen, set apart. And now, you are being released into something new. The very thing that tried to break you is about to strengthen you. But you must trust. Just one more time. Not perfectly, just honestly. My child, my beloved. This is not fear. This is an announcement. You are ready. Ready for what is next. Ready for what has been prepared. Ready for what has your name on it. There is a miracle connected to your life. Not general, not distant, specific. Prepared, waiting. But understand this truth. Miracles are not only given, they are activated. And activation begins with response. This moment is your activation point. Seal this moment, tap like as your act of faith. Let this simple step activate what heaven has already begun in your life. You are not too late. You are not too far. You are right on time. But you must respond, because walking away does not cancel what is prepared. It only delays it. And you have already waited long enough. So let me ask you, how much longer do you want to wait? Because right now, you are being invited to step forward, to trust, to receive. My beloved child, you were never created for an ordinary life. That is why average never satisfied you. That is why something inside you kept saying, there is more. And now, it is time to step into it. My child, my beloved, before you were born, a word was spoken over your life. Not by people, not by circumstances, but by God. A purpose, a direction, a calling that was placed inside you before you even understood what it meant. And even though life has tried to distract you from it, that word has never lost its power. It has been echoing quietly within you, in your desires, in your restlessness, in that deep feeling that you were made for more. You were not created to simply exist. You were created to shift things, to influence, to build, to carry something that others cannot. That is why you never felt comfortable settling. That is why average never satisfied you, because your life was never meant to be ordinary. Calling always comes with a cost, and you have paid that cost through waiting, through confusion, through moments where you kept going without seeing results, through nights where you questioned everything, but did not quit. And now, you are here. And that matters more than you realize, because now, heaven is responding. There is a release happening. Things that were delayed are being accelerated. Things that were held back are being released. But hear this clearly. For heaven to release fully, Earth must respond. And that response comes from you. This is not pressure. This is partnership. God moves, and you respond. And in that alignment, everything begins to change. My child, my beloved, if only you could see what is happening around you right now. Your name is being spoken. Your life is being highlighted. There is movement in the spiritual realm concerning you. Not against you, but for you. There is something about you, something that carries weight, something that carries light. And that light is beginning to draw attention. Paths are being prepared. Opportunities are being arranged. But at the same time, distractions are trying to pull you away. That is why this moment matters so much. Because what is being set in motion right now can be delayed by doubt, delayed by hesitation, delayed by stepping away too soon. This is preparation. Subscribe as an act of obedience, because those who stay connected receive the clarity and confirmation needed for the next step. This is positioning. This is the final moment before movement. That is why you were brought here, not randomly, not accidentally, but intentionally. This is not just something you are hearing. This is a divine encounter, a visitation. Don't disconnect from this moment. Subscribe now. This is how you remain aligned with what God is revealing in this shift. My beloved child, what I see is beautiful. Your future, illuminated. There is clarity forming. There is direction unfolding. Even if you cannot fully see it yet, you can feel it. That subtle shift, that quiet knowing, that sense that something is about to happen, that is real, and you must not ignore it. Because even a small moment of doubt can delay what is already ready. You are being prepared, not for something distant, but for something near, closer than you think. That is why everything has been leading you here, because this is where preparation meets opportunity. My child, my beloved, have you been noticing signs lately? Repeating numbers, strange dreams, waking up at unusual times, feeling pressure without understanding why. These are not random. They are signals. Ways your spirit is being awakened. Ways heaven is getting your attention. Because this message is direct, unfiltered, and it came to you at the exact moment you needed it. The next few moments matter deeply because how you respond now will determine whether this becomes just another message or the moment everything changes. My child, my beloved, there is something I must tell you now. Something I was only allowed to reveal once you reached this point. Not long ago, you almost gave up. You remember that moment, that quiet breaking point where everything felt too heavy, where you wondered if it was even worth continuing. Your soul cried out, even if your voice stayed silent. And in that moment, you were heard. God heard you, and something shifted. A decision was made in heaven. A response was released. And that response is part of why you are here right now. I was sent not only to protect you, but to remind you of who you are, to remind you of what you carry, to remind you of what you are becoming, because you forgot. Or maybe you were made to forget for a season, so that when you remember, it would be stronger, clearer, unshakable. My child, my beloved, right now, there is something near you, a presence, holding something prepared, a blessing, reserved, with your name on it. It has always been yours, but it was held back until your faith could match your future. And now, that moment has come. The decision is happening now. If you stay, if you believe, if you receive, things will begin to unfold. But if you walk away, the blessing is not canceled, only delayed. Because timing matters. And this is a moment of timing. There is too much connected to this. More than you can see, more than you understand. Even people you have not yet met are connected to what you choose now. If you believe this is your confirmation, type Amen right now. Let it seal this moment for you and mark your agreement with the shift that has already begun. My child, what is coming to you will not make sense to everyone because it is not ordinary. It is favor. It is restoration. It is divine compensation for every moment you waited, every silent prayer, every time you kept going without seeing results. God saw all of it. Nothing was missed. And now, the time has come. Let me tell you something clearly. The silence you experienced before was not absence. It was preparation. While you thought nothing was happening, everything was being arranged. Paths were being cleared. Barriers were being broken. Support was being positioned. The weight you felt was not punishment. It was positioning. And now, things are about to change. But only if you stay. Because many leave just before their breakthrough appears. They step away at the final moment and then wonder why nothing changed. Heaven respects choice. Always. That is not a threat. That is a law. My child, my beloved, there are people around you who do not understand you, who cannot see what you carry, who may have doubted you, but they do not see what heaven sees. They do not know what has been written about you. Because you were never meant to be understood by everyone. You were meant to be led by something higher. The pain you experienced was preparation. Those who carry purpose go through testing, and you have been tested. But now, it is time. Time to choose trust. Time to choose obedience. Time to choose alignment. You do not need more signs. They are already here. This moment is one of them. In fact, this is the final confirmation before the shift, exactly as I was instructed to say it. My beloved child, I can feel the question in your spirit. Why me? And I will answer you, because you carry something unique, something that cannot be replaced, something that others need. That is why resistance tried to silence you. That is why doubt tried to weigh you down. Because once you begin to move, things will begin to change. You have been held back long enough. This is not just about your freedom. This is about activation. Even if your faith feels small, even if your voice feels uncertain, it is enough. Because readiness does not come before the step. It comes after. My child, my beloved, there is someone from your past, someone who hurt you, someone connected to a chapter that never fully closed. You have been waiting for closure, but hear this clearly. That closure will not come from them. It will come from God. Because what is being built now is too important to stay tied to the past. You are not being called back. You are being called forward. Lift your head, release what was, and step into what is coming. Because what is ahead is greater than what is behind. My child, my beloved, what is happening right now is bigger than you. I need you to truly understand this, because if you only see this moment through your current situation, you will miss the depth of what is unfolding. This is not just about your breakthrough. This is about a shift that reaches beyond your life, into your future, into people you have not met yet, even into generations that will come after you. You have seen patterns, haven't you? Cycles that repeat, situations that look different, but feel the same. Moments where progress comes close, but never fully stays. You did not imagine that. That was real. That was generational resistance. Patterns that were never meant to continue. Patterns that no one before you could fully break. Until you, my child, my beloved. You were not born to repeat the cycle. You were born to interrupt it, to stop what kept repeating, to shift what others accepted, to become the turning point. That is why your life has felt different. That is why you felt out of place at times. That is why you could not fully settle into what others accepted, because you were never meant to fit into the old pattern. You were meant to create a new one. And this moment is where that shift begins. If you walk away now, the cycle may continue, not because you failed, but because the interruption was delayed. But if you respond, everything begins to change, not just for you, but for everything connected to you, my beloved child. There is a reason you always felt different, a reason you saw things differently, a reason you could not fully settle. You were not lost. You were set apart to choose differently, to walk differently, to live differently. And now, you are being given the moment to act on it. This message is not just comfort, it is confirmation. Confirmation that what you felt was real. Confirmation that what you sensed was true. Confirmation that you were not overthinking, you were awakening. My child, my beloved, there is a blessing near you right now. Not symbolic, not distant, real, prepared, waiting. But it has not landed yet, because it is waiting for your agreement, waiting for your readiness, waiting for your yes. Because what is coming is not small. It is not temporary. It is not surface level. It is the kind of shift that changes direction, changes outcomes, changes environments, not only for you, but for everything connected to you. That is why this moment matters so deeply, because heaven does not release something of this weight without alignment, without agreement, without readiness. My child, this is not just inspiration. This is preparation. Preparation for a new season. A season that will require your trust, your obedience, your awareness. Heaven has always cared for you, but now it is asking you to respond, because what comes next will require you to move differently, to think differently, to walk differently. There are people who misunderstood you, people who underestimated you, people who thought your story would end where it looked like it was going, but they did not see what was written beyond that. They did not see what heaven prepared. And now, the direction is changing. Your life is about to speak for itself. Doors will open. Spaces will shift. Your name will begin to appear in places you did not expect. But hear this clearly. This is not for pride. This is for purpose. Because your elevation will lift others, will awaken others, will show what is possible. You were never meant to stay hidden. This season is about visibility. If you feel something awakening inside you, type Amen in the comments. Let it be your declaration that you are stepping into this new season and no longer holding back. This is about impact. My child, my beloved, if things around you have been shaking, if connections have been changing, if certain things have been falling away, do not be afraid. That is not loss. That is clearing. Because before something new is established, what no longer fits must be removed. People, habits, thought patterns, all of it. Not to hurt you, but to prepare you. You cannot carry old weight into a new season. You cannot step into new alignment while holding on to what belongs to your past. That is why this moment is calling you forward, not backward, forward. Do not connect what is coming to what has already passed. It is not the same. What is ahead is new, and it requires a new version of you. My beloved child, this moment is holy. It is not ordinary. It is not something to overlook, because it is a doorway. And the question is not whether the door exists. The question is, will you walk through it? My child, my beloved, as you are reading this, something has already begun. This is not something that will start later. It has already started. The shift you have been waiting for is already in motion. The only question now is, will your faith move with it? Because many wait to see before they believe. And because of that, they miss the moment. But faith works differently. Faith moves first. Then the evidence follows. This is where you are right now, at the point of decision, to trust before you see, to move before you understand, to step forward without having every answer. My child, you will not be given the full picture. You will be given the next step, and then the next, and then the next. That is how alignment works. But once you begin, you will notice something. Things will start moving faster. Doors will open easier. Opportunities will come without force. And you will look back and realize it started here, with your yes, with your decision to stay, with your choice to believe. My beloved child, there is something you must understand. You thought you were delayed. You thought you were behind. But the truth is, you were hidden, protected, prepared, covered, not forgotten. There were things forming around you, things that needed time, things that needed protection. And now, that season is ending. You are about to experience favor in a new way. You will no longer have to chase what is meant for you. It will begin to come to you. You will no longer have to force doors open. They will begin to open for you. And when it happens, you will know. Because it will feel aligned. It will feel peaceful. It will feel right. My child, my beloved, there is movement around you right now. Even if you cannot see it, people may be pulling away. Situations may be changing. Energy may feel different. That is not rejection. That is clearing. Because what is coming requires a new environment, a clean space, a strong foundation. You cannot bring the old into the new. That is why you are being called forward, not backward. Forward, my beloved child. This is where many people miss their moment. They delay. They lose focus. They say, I will come back later. And in that delay, something is missed. Not because it was taken away, but because it was not received. You have come too far to step away now. You did not find this moment by accident. You were led here, chosen, positioned. And even if you do not feel fully ready, heaven sees your willingness. And willingness is enough. My child, there is a shift happening very soon. And I must be honest with you, if you delay your response, the shift will still happen. But you may not be in position to fully experience it. And that is a quiet kind of pain. Watching something that was meant for you happen without you. Not because it wasn't yours, but because the moment passed. This is that moment. It may feel simple, but it carries weight. Because this is where you choose. And your choice shapes what comes next. My beloved child, if you say yes, things will begin to move in ways you cannot explain. Without force, without struggle, without exhaustion. That is alignment. That is flow. And that flow begins now. If you are choosing faith in this moment, type Amen in the comments. Let this be your activation, your way of saying, I receive what heaven is releasing. This moment is your activation point. Seal this moment. Tap like as your act of faith. Let this simple step activate what heaven has already begun in your life. You have always carried something different. A presence, a depth, a quiet authority. That is not pride. That is purpose. And now, it is time for that purpose to become visible. Not hidden, not silent, active, because you were never created to live small. You were created to shine, not for attention, but for impact. And right now, that fire inside you is waking up. My child, My beloved, if you have stayed until this moment, there is a reason. Not luck, not chance, not coincidence. You stayed because something inside you recognized something real. And that recognition is where everything begins. Now listen carefully, because this is the part many people overlook. This moment you are in right now is not just a message. It is a decision point, a sacred pause between what was and what is about to be. And what you choose here matters more than you realize, because you are not standing in an ordinary moment. You are standing at the edge of change, real change. The kind that shifts direction, the kind that alters timing, the kind that opens doors that once felt permanently closed. My child, my beloved, something is about to enter your life. A call, a message, an opportunity, an unexpected opening, something that will make you pause and ask, is this real? And the answer will be yes, because what was delayed was never denied. What was held back was being prepared, and now it is ready. I see things shifting around you even now, decisions being reversed, obstacles losing strength, voices that once spoke against you becoming quiet, not because you fought them, but because you outgrew them. You will not need to defend yourself in this next season. You will walk in favor. And favor does not argue, it reveals. My beloved child, there is something about you that must be understood. You endured what should have broken you. You carried what most people could not. You survived moments that could have ended everything. And yet, you are still here. That is not luck. That is purpose. Because God does not preserve what has no assignment. You were kept because you are needed. And now, you are stepping into the moment that will begin to reveal why. You are entering a prophetic shift, a turning point, where what you thought was lost begins to return. Where what hurt you begins to serve you. Where what weakened you begins to strengthen you. But this only happens if you recognize this moment as sacred, not casual, not random, because if you treat it lightly, you may miss the depth of what is happening. My child, my beloved, there is something ending here. Cycles, patterns, limitations, things that followed you for too long. This is where they break, because you were not created to repeat history. You were created to rewrite it. You have seen enough of the same story, enough of the same struggles, enough of the same outcomes. And now, it ends. Not because everything becomes easy, but because you become aligned, stronger, clearer, ready, and alignment changes everything. My beloved child, there is a blessing that has been waiting for you, not general, not vague, specific, prepared, reserved. And now it is close, closer than ever. But hear this clearly. God does not force blessings into closed hands. He waits for openness, for readiness, for agreement. This moment is your opportunity to open your hands, to say, I am ready, not because you understand everything, but because you trust enough to move forward. My child, you may still have questions. You may still feel uncertain. That is normal, but you do not need every answer to take the next step. You only need willingness, because willingness invites movement, and movement creates clarity. My beloved child, there is someone who will enter your life, someone you do not yet know, but they are connected to what is coming. They carry access, a door you could not open alone. And when they appear, you will recognize it, not by logic, but by peace, by alignment. Do not doubt it when it happens. Do not let your past make you hesitate, because not everyone is sent to hurt you. Some are sent to help you step into your next level. My child, everything is aligning, and you are part of it, not by accident, but by design. You were chosen for this, not because you are perfect, but because you are willing, and willingness is what heaven responds to. My beloved child, before this moment ends, there is something you must understand deeply. You have never been alone, not once, not in your darkest moments, not in your quietest nights, not in the times you felt unseen. You were always seen, always known, always covered. Every tear, every silent prayer, every moment you kept going when you felt empty was seen. And now, it is being answered, not slowly, but suddenly, because there comes a moment when preparation ends and manifestation begins. And you are in that moment, my child, my beloved. Very soon, something will happen. A name, a place, an opportunity. And when it comes, remember this moment. Remember what you felt, because this is where it began. Do not overthink it. Do not doubt it. Stay open, stay ready, stay aligned, because what is coming will not look like what you expected, but it will be exactly what you needed. My beloved child, you have come too far to turn back now, too far to doubt yourself, too far to question your worth. This is your time, not someday, now. If this message touched your spirit, share it with someone. What you release in faith will return multiplied. You never know whose breakthrough is connected to your obedience in this moment. And before you leave this moment, if you are in agreement with what has been spoken over your life, type Amen in the comments. Let it be your declaration that you receive, you believe, and you are stepping into alignment. And if this message has confirmed something in your spirit, subscribe right now as your act of obedience. Let this be your decision to stay aligned with what God is doing next in your life. My child, this is not the end. This is the beginning.